Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Slow Pitch City here in Dorchester for the SPO Elimination Weekend. Ryan Robinson alongside Steve Camus. And Steve, I know we had Mark here the last couple of days, so I had the experienced player. Now I have the experienced umpire. So I think as a broadcaster, I'm keeping it fairly even. And I know but a spot here today where we've already seen a couple of games that go on. The Aftershock beating the Brewers to get to this game. They're going to play against the Naturals, who we saw play against the Orioles, who will be the latter half of our broadcast this afternoon. So what are we expecting out of this? Because for the Aftershock, they've had a busy morning already to get on the diamond for the Naturals. This is their first shot since last night.
And you make a good point, Ryan. Aftershock have already played today, Naturals haven't. So with the heat and the sun here, it's going to take its toll on the Aftershock. And both teams are two of the stronger teams in the A division. So depending on the heat and the sun, Aftershock is going to have to work a little extra harder because Naturals are well rested.
The other thing for the Naturals I got to think is the fact that they had that game against the Orioles last night, and I know talking to some of the guys afterwards, not exactly the way they wanted that game to work out. The Orioles definitely put up a big number in the mid part of that game. For the Naturals, do they really want to respond here early to get that, kind of put everybody on notice that they're in it to get right back into it tonight, this afternoon?
Yeah, and these two teams played each other have always had really good games. The Aftershock formed as a team probably around 3 years ago, and they picked a lot of players from different teams. And after a year of trial and basis with certain players for the roster, they basically they picked up stronger players. They got stronger as the years progressed. Now they're definitely top 1, 2, or 3 in the division, but Naturals are as well.
And that's the thing, the Naturals, we've seen them face off a couple times here so far this weekend with our coverage. As far as the temperature situation, I know talking to Mark in the last few days and talking to a lot of guys, it's you'd think that there's almost a meteorologist on each team. They know exactly what the temperature is, how the ball flies. We're not too hot here today, but it's not too cool either. Is that kind of neutralize that ball a little bit, or is it earlier in the day it's going to get a little bit extra on the ball?
The temperature actually has nothing to do with the way the ball plays now, just because they've come up with a new ball in the last few years, and the ball stays consistent whether it is cold weather or hot weather. So that's a good thing. So the players don't really have to adjust with that. And the Naturals, they have a lot of experience coaching on their side. They have a couple of coaches by the name of Jeff Long and Jimmy Moran who have been around the A division for a number of years. And Jeff Long actually was a very good player in his day. So they'll take any advantage they can get through the experience they've had over years. But in saying that, Aftershock have a couple of experienced coaches as well, and one who played in the A division for many years. So it's all about the game within the game, and I'm sure you and Mark spoke about this in the last few days about it's about trying to get in people's heads. This slow pitch game, for people who are not privy to this division, they see the local ball being played on a weeknight, and that doesn't do justice to what we're seeing here today.
Not in the least. The way that we've the sheer athleticism and the seriousness in nature. The guys are having fun, don't get me wrong, but at the same time they mean business when they get to the ball diamond. And you see everybody on the Aftershock or the Naturals bench right now. They're right up on the top of the guardrail, just encouraging everybody to get things going. And we're going to see what we get here as we're first pitch underway. Kyle Piowarchuk, he had a pretty good game last night. I think he went to 2 for 3 or 3 for 4 yesterday. Definitely setting the table for his team. Gets a hard knock here right off the bat into right field and put a runner on the board here early for the Naturals.
The big game of the tournament is the game that went on last night, the undefeated game. And the reason that one is so big is because the winner of this game is going to play the Orioles, who are well rested, who haven't played a game today. And the Orioles got to that point because they won that game last night.
Right off the bat, Mike McLeod deep to left field. This one up against the fence. Comes back with the ball. Piowarchuk was already tagging on the play. Have a look out in left field. This is a beauty catch, but meets the top of that outfield fence hard. It's Brennan Peerworth over there, and he'll take a minute and no doubt to catch his breath.
The athleticism of the players in this division is astonishing. As long as I've been umpiring the men's A division, it still amazes me what the players can do.
Oh, it's a marvel to take a look at this one yet again. Makes the catch, and that ball either would have hit the top of the fence or was over it. Looked like he was real close to going out, but the catch was made, so one out here. Piowarchuk goes from first to third on the tag up at first. Shows the speed he's got.
And if that fly ball was dropped and ended up landing on the other side of the fence, the ruling would have been a 4-base award. And the reason that's important to take note of is because in this division they're allowed 7 home runs per game. And anything that tips off the glove and goes over the fence is a 4-base award, and that doesn't take away one of the home runs that the teams are allowed to hit.
So if some guy's real accurate, he could just try and hit the top of the fence and hope for it. We've seen throughout the weekend here, Dwayne Hamilton doesn't exactly need any extra help to get that ball over the fence. Outside pitch, Hamilton holds on. A reminder, we do start with the 1-1 count, so quickens up the at-bats. Outside pitch here for Hamilton. Now that one does get in and just hits the corner of the mat. Hamilton goes right up the middle. That'll be an RBI here for Hamilton as Piowarchuk comes in to score. And the Naturals are on the board.
So Hamilton, he keeps it within the family. And what I mean by that is he came from a team before the Naturals called the Pirates. And the Pirates are run by Jordy and Francis Long, who are the 2 sons of Jeff Long, who coaches here on the Naturals team. Dwayne Hamilton's a prison guard. He's got the right build for it.
I wouldn't mess with him, that's for sure. Jeremy Vandewinkle going to take over. As Mark had called it the last couple days, the courteous runner. Big shot here, Foisey. That one is going to clear the fence and carry him off a tree on its way through as well. If you missed it, we had a heck of a shot of Foisey yesterday doing a nice little dance around a second base. And that one hits the tree and carries through. 3 runs now on the board.
And a lot of players in this division are former umpires, and Foisey's one of them. Foisey used to umpire league ball, and he's now gotten a little more serious into the slow pitch end of it. But he understands the game, and that's the thing about the men's A players. A lot of them know the rules as well as the umpires do. Normally when you do league, that's not the case.
Yeah, people arguing with one another. That's a hard shot for Pete Babcock down the first baseline, snagged up there on the way through. 2 out.
Chuck Roberts approaching the plate.
Chuck was the pitcher to start the game last night against the Orioles. After the Orioles batted around in that inning, he handed the ball off, but Roberts down the third baseline. That one snagged on to first. Nice scoop there at first to pick up the ball to record the 3rd out here. But the Naturals get 3 on the board here in the first half of the first inning. As we take another look at this one, it's right down the line. Nice snag at third and across.
Chuck Roberts for the Naturals, a utility player, used primarily in the infield, but also pitches for the team.
Yeah, it looks like he will be back on the mound today here for the Naturals. It's the fun part of no matter what game you play, whether you're at the big league level or playing A-level slow pitch or any level, it's especially here on a weekend like this, if you don't have the best of games, you probably got another one coming around within 12 hours.
Can you get a picture of the umpires at all? Can you get a shot of the umpires? I'll introduce them. So those two umpires there, plate umpire closest to us on the screen is Dave Pritchard. He's from Niagara Falls, Ontario. The further umpire is John Hacker from Chatham, Ontario. And the umpire at first base is Jim Hassan. He's from London.
I've had plenty of run-ins with Jim over the years. It's been fun doing the games this weekend, sitting down, putting a headset on. I've had a few of the umpires walk by and go, "Haven't you and I argued before?" No, don't know what you're talking about.
It's a tough division to umpire, and when you're doing the plate, the reason why it's so difficult to do the plate is because it's stress. And what I mean by stress, it's mental stress, because there's about three. Go ahead, Ryan.
Brendan Beerworth there with a shot to left field, but no doubt the stress of getting things right when you're at this high a level.
And what I mean by the mental stress is approximately 250 to 300 pitches in a men's A game, and the plate umpire has to have it in his head. Before the release of the pitch is going to be illegal. It's going to be no good. Otherwise, he will miss illegal pitches.
Big shot here. That one's down the line. Looking well foul. Big shot there. Ryan Yakura, the middle infielder.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Wait.
Just heard one of the guys call it tin can, and the odd sound coming off the back. So played a second, thrown out at second. A close play as Beerworth was head of steam over to second base. We'll have another look at it. Karam off the. It's a close one. The fact that we're doing the games now, some of the players have been saying that they need the advantage of letting the umpires know that they can come back down to the ground and see our replays. It's not part of the rule yet, so we're just a complimentary factor, not part of the actual ruling at this point.
And I saw last night when we were all laughing when a player came back to look at the replay after he was called out.
Shot through, that one's right center. Bit slow on getting the ball back in. Now we're going to have a play at third. Safe is the call. Chuck Roberts is having a quick word with the umpire, but close one at third.
And that's what I meant by earlier. A lot of the players understand the game as well as the umpires do. So if an umpire is not in the absolute right position, the players are aware of it, and the players will question you on it. In that situation there, we had an umpire go out on the fly ball, so the umpires revert to a 2-umpire system. So the first base umpire, Jim Hassan, has to cut all the way across the diamond with the runner going all the way to third.
Pat Severin here. Let that one go. Got a 2-1 count here. High fly ball. That one's going left-hand side, but it will cut foul on out of play. Close one here. Yes, they're trying to organize it. I think a young guy wants to keep the ball.
Chuck Roberts is one of few pitchers that still pitch in this division without a face mask.
At least it went out of play, man. I thought you were catching that. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
2 out here. Shot to center field. That one's high. And is caught for the third out. So the Aftershock get a man to third, but no further. As you see, the third out in center field. So it's 3-0 Naturals through the first. At what point does for the Aftershock, since they have played quite a bit, you got to think they'd want to get things going early on, because as the game progresses longer, the fatigue factor might set in.
what's important is to use your bench on a day like this, but the Aftershock do not have the luxury of having a deep bench. There's a possibility that if there's injuries, the coaches have to go into the lineup, and coaches can only go into the lineup if the players fall under 12 players on the lineup card. So I know there was conversation before this game about that because the Aftershock bench is not as deep as it normally is.
They only have an additional 3 players on the bench listed right now, so total of 13. So yeah, they'd have to, if they lost 2 players at some point. I mean, how many times have we all tried to get a team together and you're just trying to get the right amount of numbers, right? Daryl Zimmer here starting things out. He'll go opposite way. That one's into right field. Zimmer rounds first, but goes no further. So a single to start out the second here.
Kyle, who's pitching for the Aftershock, a lot of times what he likes to do is he'll maximize the arc as high as he can with an umpire until an umpire controls it on him. So if an umpire seems that he's not calling the high pitch, Kyle will keep climbing and climbing until that umpire will call it.
Sometimes it's the chess match in a multitude of ways going on. Shot to right field. That one's cutting through, picked up by the right fielder. Andy Dreyer with a nice drive to right field, just not able to bring that one down.
Andy Dreyer stopped playing in the A division for a few years, and he's just returned back this year to play. Excellent fielder in his day. Not saying that he's not in his day now, but he had some really strong years a few years back. He was one of the fastest center fielders going. He could track down everything.
Craig Bate here. He's just going to chop this one to the middle infield position. Second on to first for a nice double play there. And take a look at this one. Second on to first. Nice turn there on the twist. So 3 up, even though there was a single. 3 up, 3 down there for the Naturals in the second after putting up 3 in the first.
So I'll give you a little history of
I love history.
Of things that happen.
Big fan.
Happen throughout the slow pitch season. So Chuck Roberts, who's playing for the Naturals right now, earlier this year, and it was only a few weeks ago, an umpire ejected a player on Chuck's team for throwing his bat. And the bat throw was one of those bat throws that was a tweener. It could be ejected, could not be ejected, and the umpire chose to eject it. So ever since then, because I UIC a lot of the events, Chuck's always having conversations with me. So
wants clarification on the matter.
So earlier today, we walked by each other in the parking lot, and he gives me a few words about the bat throwing. And then in this game, we had a similar situation just happen. And just now, when Chuck walked out to his pitching rubber, he was in my ear, even though I'm telecasting this, about bat throwing.
Just a little bit of chatter. It's all part of the game, that's for sure. As Derek McGrath going to get a opening base hit here. Big shot to left field. That one will drop in. As the Aftershock going to get a back-to-back singles here to try and threaten it a little bit. It's Keith Woodcock, the center fielder.
This player here who's coming up to bat now, Robbie Lawrence, number 66, he's a former Orioles player. He's been playing in the A division for over 20 years. He left for a little while, and then friends talked him back into playing, and he came back a couple of years ago.
That one's out to center field and clears the fence. So a big shot there. Doesn't look like he hasn't missed much of a beat, that's for sure.
A lot of these players can go yard, but they all have their roles.
Yeah.
And they need to play the situation properly. So if it's not smart to hit it out, they need to keep the ball down, keep it in the park.
Shot to right center field. Tracking the ball, gets that one through. Nice shot there by Daniel Lee, just not able to get that one through the right-hand side.
Ultimately, what you want to do with a batting lineup in this slow pitch game in this division is you want to write out the lineup a little differently than it would be a baseball game. In slow pitch, what you want to try and do with your lineup is have your hitters single hitter, then a player can hit yard. Single hitter, another yard. So if the players can play their roles properly and do that, that would be great for the team. That's the way they set up their lineup.
As Ryan Hopper there. Grounds out to the shortstop onto first.
Heads up.
Yeah, we've been talking about the fact that you have to use those home runs not only strategically, but place them at the right times as well. So we've seen a couple of guys put out solo home runs, and sometimes they're cheered and sometimes they're aggravated by doing so. I know we saw a game yesterday as that shot is short into left field. And that one will be caught here for the end of the second inning. So through two, we got a 3-3 score. We'll take a quick break and have the third inning for you next here on Rogers TV.
Come on, boys.